don't know what happens. Res, just res, please. Okay, I'm just gonna move in.
Move in.
Die.
Let's go! Oh, let's go, Protox. You are a legend. You
okay.
are an absolute legend.
That was a 7-minute kill. Rough. Welcome to my video on RuneScape's newest boss dungeon, the Sanctum of Rebirth. In this video, I'll take you through the dungeon, sharing my first impressions and kind of guide you through each encounter as well. So whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. The Sanctum of Rebirth is unlocked after completing a small mini-quest called Soul Searching. The mini-quest can be started by speaking to the suspicious stranger located on the docks in the city of It's a really simple mini-quest that'll take you about 5 to 10 minutes of running back and forth and turning yourself into a zombie with a potion requiring the following items as seen on screen. If you're not sure where to buy a papyrus, you can get these from a couple of shops in RuneScape, including Ali in Al Kharid and this general store in Ardoin. Now, the Sanctum of Rebirth is unique because in normal mode you can die up to 4 times. The first 3 times you have something called Resurrection Sickness, which reduces your damage by about 75% for like 10 to 12 seconds, but you aren't dead, you're still in the fight. After those 3 lives, you are truly dead if you die again, unless you have a sign of life which will extend it by an additional life. Vermyx is the first boss you'll encounter in this triple boss dungeon. The fight starts with you needing to drop the boss's HP down 1/4 to the first marker. In solo mode, this is down to 300,000 life points in normal mode. If the boss says snarl, make sure you either keep moving around or move out of the cyan colored tile on the floor. If not, you'll get spiked by the moonstone that comes up afterwards. Something that you should know right away and which confused me at first is that the only way you can drop the boss's life points is to attack and damage the center head, not the coil spawn. Killing those results in less damage taken per boss head alive, which is nice, but not the focus. And the reason why, I'll get to in just a second. Once you get the boss to the first mark of its life point, you'll need to head west and redirect 3 souls or more if you're duo at 6, and I believe it continues scaling like that. So 3 players would be 9 souls. Make sure you focus on redirecting these, otherwise you're simply going to prolong the fight, making it significantly harder. You need to stand in the middle of the green arrows, and you need to do this quickly. With auto retaliate turned on or you attacking the boss, it's going to be really annoying and it will prolong the fight. Regardless of if you make it or not, the coil head will start puking over that entire third of the arena, indicated by the beautiful attack telegraphing animation. Get your ass out of there once you see it. If you did it correctly, you'll be able to shave off another 1/4 of the boss's health in the center. If not, well, you continue where you would if you did it correctly, just that the boss will have more health. And it will take longer. The boss will then require you to do the exact same thing on the other eastern side, where you redirect souls and then gain access to the rest of the boss's health bar. You want to continue avoiding those spikes, but the boss can now also spawn scarabs that heal it, which you need to take out using stunnable abilities. With Necro, this is a little tricky, but I used a Threads of Fate incantation into a Death Guard special attack. The boss can also launch powerful bombs indicated by the boss saying Kree. You can use Disruption Shield or Resonance to counter these. This boss is definitely the easiest of the 3, although I wouldn't say that I find it particularly amazing because you have to really stand exactly on a certain tile, and RuneScape movement is kind of clunky. So it's fine. I'd give it a 6 out of 10 if I'm being honest. The second boss is Kezalam, and this one's pretty fun. This boss has a ton of attack telegraphing animations, which I'm just going to go ahead and say, try to avoid them and you'll be fine. Use mobility abilities to avoid these, it will help you out. The second attack you'll encounter is one I really dislike, and not because it's a bad mechanic, but because it just seems to come out so quickly. About 20 seconds into the fight, and in some other parts of the fight as well, it will happen, a blue bar will charge above your head. Once it fully charges, and this doesn't take very long at all, you get stunned and locked into an ice prison. You have to either anticipate it or freedom the stun, break the ice, the moonstone I mean, and get out before this orb hits you. If it hits you, you're dead, or at least you lose 1 of your lives. I feel like this attack charges way too quickly, and it's almost not reactable if you just use an ability. If the attack was a little bit slower, I think it would be better. Once you get this monster down a third of its life points, it'll start shaking and be immune to your attacks. At this point, you're going to need to destroy 1 of the 2 pillars. If you're in a group, you can do both at the same time, or nearly at the same time if you're good. Solo to 1, and then continue attacking the boss after having destroyed the pillar. If you don't manage it in time, you'll have a sort of wave attack that pulses around, and that will hurt, trust me. The pulse wave attack comes out after the bar on the top fully turns blue, by the way. The boss can also spawn scarabs. Again, you're going to have to deal with these using stuns. If you're using Necro, do a Threads of Fate to try and kill both at the same time with a Death Guard spec, or a soul strike ability. I don't know for sure, and that's going to have to wait until I make a full detailed guide, but I believe you're able to get a resonance off here and there from certain boss mechanics here. This boss is one of the better bosses RuneScape has released, and I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. Very nice. The third boss of the dungeon, called Nakatra, is an absolute monster. If I had to describe this boss in a single word, it would be chaos. At first, I felt completely overwhelmed trying to do this on livestream. It was, I mean, we got kills, but it was properly tough. After some thought and looking back at my footage and trying this boss solo relaxed with a bit of music, I was able to get the hang of it. It's definitely doable if you're an experienced high-level PvMer. That is in normal mode. I have yet to try hard mode, but I'll be jumping into that after creating this video. If you're able to do bosses like Zuck, Karapak, Nex, solos, you should be able to do this boss. Is it going to be easy? No, but it is a fun challenge. Take a step back and try to think, perhaps record your own footage to see what is going wrong. Once you get the hang of it and you start killing this boss, you feel like an animal. It is so much fun. The boss has a bunch of different telegraphing attacks that you can avoid by using mobility abilities and sometimes simply by running out of the way. Some give you more leeway than others. The boss will say prepare for death, and not long after you'll get nuked. This attack is very reactable by using the resonance ability or the disruption shield spell. What really annoyed me during my first impressions of this boss is that the audio lines or voice lines of this boss don't seem to exist, or they're bugged. Either way, you're not able to react based on an audio cue to this mechanic, so you actually need to continue paying attention to your chat box or the boss. This has killed me so many times, I've lost count. If Jagex fixes this, this is a fine mechanic. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not exactly sure when these spawn, but there's scarabs that you need to stun to kill as well, just like the first and second boss. I believe this happens around phase 3, or when starting phase 3. The boss will also spawn nefties, which are these things that you need to kill. I believe it's 2 per player, because in duos we had 4, in solos I had 2, so you're going to need to kill these. And once you've done that, you'll have a small period in time which you're able to damage the boss before getting sucked into some kind of realm. Wait, what? We got chomped? Wait, what? And this was really confusing at first, but you have about 30 seconds to do the following tasks. Otherwise, you're instant killed. Doesn't matter how many lives you've left, you'll be dead. Start by clicking on the purple soul storm to release it. This will spawn 2 enemies. You're going to AoE these down. These are some kind of felines. Kill them, and then click on the soul fragments to go back into the boss fight. It's 3 per person. While doing this, you're going to want to pay attention to the 2 symbols you can see to your north near the head. Once you get back to the boss, you're going to need to stand on the white glowing bits of the symbol that you didn't see. So this is like a, hey, you're missing this puzzle. For example, on screen you can see I have some kind of sphinx and another one playing with a ball. Once I get back to the boss fight, I see 3 symbols. I see the 2 I saw inside the realm, in addition to a 3rd symbol being some kind of crocodile. I'm going to stand on the white bits to survive a massive hit. I'm pretty sure you're not able to reduce this using defensive, so you actually need to learn this mechanic, as barricade didn't work. If someone has figured out some kind of way to not have to learn this mechanic or to avoid the little puzzle, let me know that in the comments below, but so far I don't believe it's possible. Now you're able to get this realm thing over and over depending on how fast your DPS is. If you're pretty good, you'll be able to do it in a single cycle. And, the phase after that is just madness. The boss goes crazy. There's wave-like mechanics you need to avoid by using escape and then going back forward. It's really tough. If you don't have the mobile park on your gear, you're going to suffer. But the boss is fantastic. The only things wrong with it, really right now, are the fact that the audio cues don't work correctly, or they're just not developed. If that's fixed, I would give this boss an 8.5 out of 10. Really good. What isn't very good, on the other hand, are 2 things. 1, the dungeon is a little bit laggy during some of the animations, and 2, the common loot is disgusting. I recorded my reaction to the loot from my first and second Nakatra's kill. What the f... That's worse loot than the first and second boss.
Yeah, I know.
Scammed, man. Dude, 146k? What is this, dude?
Yep.
What? This is garbage. 18 uncut dragonstones, 9 Acadia wood. Why are these Acadia wood spirits and not Elder? I don't want to have an entire discussion about drops and, rares accounting for most of the money, but common loot should be pretty decent for a player to want to continue if they're on a dry streak. Right now, the common loot seems pretty weak. That's just my opinion. I think it needs to be buffed, or else you're not really enticing players to continue when they're dry. Speaking of drops, the final boss has a bunch of drops including tier 95 magic weapons, an item that brings tier 95s to tier 100, which is interesting, and a brand new god book, which I believe you can get from all of the bosses, even in normal mode. Oh, and by the way, one of the elite achievements requires you to speak to the cat after killing the boss with a cat speak or cramulet. Overall, fantastic bosses, not many bugs on release, which is surprising, and the boss or bosses are fun. Unlike 4CAF, which I think was the complete opposite on release. Let me know what you think of this boss down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.